Hey, welcome to session number 1 of the YouTube 1K challenge. In this training, I'm going to be sharing my best advice for how to get your first 1,000 subscribers and how to earn your first $1,000 online. I'm also going to be sharing some lessons that I personally learned the hard way so you can go faster and avoid the mistakes I've made in my YouTube journey. I'm also going to be sharing some tips for making money. And then imagine 12 months from now that you are maybe holding even a silver play button. I believe you could get to your next 1,000 subscribers soon. But beyond that, what about 10,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers? With the strategies you're learning in this very training, you're going to be learning exactly how to get those kinds of results. But hey, if you're just joining, this is our YouTube 1K challenge. We're actually doing this in a private Facebook group. You might be watching this first session on YouTube. And over the next 3 days, we're actually going to be covering 3 of my favorite strategies for crushing it on YouTube. Today, we're going to be covering the ASQ method, this simple and easy YouTube strategy that anyone can do to get 1,000 subscribers and beyond. Tomorrow, we're covering the TSS method, how to turn your knowledge and life experience into views and make money on YouTube. And then day 3, we're covering the RSS method, the best type of YouTube videos for earning $1,000 to $10,000 per month. Throughout this entire series, you're going to be seeing these green dollar signs, and these are moments for the money. These are the moments where we're going to be talking about the different ways to monetize on YouTube. So be looking for those and listening for the sound effect. And if you haven't registered for this and you want to be a part of the challenge, just go to tube1kchallenge.com. And there's also, of course, a link in the description down below. Now, I have a question from you. Where are you watching from in the world? Drop that in the comments. I'm coming to you from Seattle, Washington. I'm fired up today. And if you want to share during this special event, then use the hashtag #GrowWithVideo on your favorite social media platform so myself and the Think Media team can engage with you over the next few days. In fact, if you tag me on Instagram at Sean Cannell, maybe on stories, use the hashtag #GrowWithVideo. I'm going to be giving away copies of my book, YouTube Secrets, all week long. We're going to be giving away ebooks, the physical book. We'll ship it to you. And so all you got to do is just tag me at Sean Cannell, specifically on Instagram, on stories, and use the hashtag so we can see the post, share the post, find it, connect with you, and would love to connect. Today's topic is the ASQ method. And we're going to be talking about the simple and easy YouTube strategy that anyone can do to get 1,000 subscribers and beyond. We're going to share some new YouTube stats that you need to know as far as the state of YouTube right now in the second half of 2021. The powerful YouTube secret that I learned from Dave Ramsey and Gary Vaynerchuk, and how to use the ASQ method to get views and earn money and a whole lot more. And so if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, this is different than kind of your average video, right? Get a journal, get a pen, because we're going deep with some real strategy that will get you results. And the first question, though, is why YouTube? Why YouTube? Why go all in on YouTube right now? Well, I don't know if you've heard, there's 2.3 billion monthly active users on YouTube right now. Sometimes it can feel like, man, it's 2021. Sean, is it too late to start? It just feels like competition is getting bigger every day. And that is true. That's an accurate observation. But it's not the full picture. The full picture is there's also more people watching YouTube every single day. In fact, the pandemic accelerated the consumption of online content. And there are people all over the world that are looking for content about specific things, about their interests, about things they want to discover, communities they want to connect with. So this amount of people means your audience, your community, if you're a business owner, your customers, if you're looking for leads, like whatever it is, they're on YouTube. 2.3 billion monthly active users. And this next decade is going to be the best decade on YouTube because YouTube continues to grow. So it's a really good time to be going all in. Additionally, if you haven't seen, Signal Fire did a study of what's called the creator economy. And I think there's something about making a decision to say, that's my economy. Like that's the business I'm going to go into. I don't know if you were like me towards the end of high school, you started to go to a career counselor and they're like, what college do you want to go to? Do you know what you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, dude, I want to be like Richard Branson, dude. I'm trying to like fly in a plane, but he didn't pass the Kármán line. So is he really an astronaut? I don't think so. Listen, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. The fastest growing small business type right now is content creators. This is not my opinion. This was a full deep dive of it being, you could see it underlined there. And what's crazy is that the amount of money in the creator economy just continues to grow. Over the next couple of years, this is going to double. It was saying that there's 2 million content creators, earning over 6 figures or 7 figures a year. That there's like another 48 million that are on different stages. And 6 figures is a crazy target. Like imagine if you just earn an extra 5K or 10K or $33,000 a year doing what you love as a content creator, as a YouTube creator, or connecting YouTube to your current business. This is a real thing. I grew up in a small town, and sometimes people around me would be like, why are you making YouTube videos? Why don't you get a real job? Well, 10 years ago, that was like an accurate thing to say. Like that was fair enough, right? But now I'm able to say, get a real job. This is a real job. Like data supports that this is the fastest growing small business type. So this is a real thing. And what I want you to hear from me and the Think Media team is we're not trying to overhype anything. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just feels like, oh, you're just trying to no, we're presenting data to you. So it's up to you to view that data with a cynical perspective or to actually say, man, if I learn the right strategies, if I get the right business model, I position myself right, I get the right skills, man, this is a real thing that can make a real impact in my life and in the lives of others because the creator economy is on fire. And that's what's happening really over the next decade. Now, the biggest thing though, and lean in because this is real strategy, we have to understand that YouTube is the best place to invest your time. There's a lot of social media platforms, but YouTube is a discovery machine, which makes it different than other platforms. What do you mean? Well, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, cool platforms, right? And by all means, people are crushing it on these platforms, TikTok influencers, I get it. But YouTube is different than all of these other platforms. See, these other platforms are content feeds, right? It's a constant feed. Just an algorithm feeding you content. YouTube is unique because YouTube is a content library. You ever remember going to the library in the Dewey Decimal System? Like you go to the librarian, you're supposed to study history. And in the moment you needed to write a paper on a historical event, you went to the library and they took you to the history section, to the exact book, C521. I don't remember the Dewey Decimal System at all, but like they would take you and you would go to that specific piece of information. That is what YouTube is. It's not a content feed, although it has the power of both because the algorithm will suggest videos to you on your homepage, but it's a content library. And when somebody has a problem or when somebody wants to learn something or when somebody's looking for a piece of information, they can find your content and listen. It might have been a video you posted a month ago. It might have been a video you posted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. I've got videos that are 10 years old that people still watch. That's different than every other platform. So when I'm asking in this competitive world, where should I be spending my time? In this noisy world, where should I be spending my attention? YouTube is a strategic place to be thinking about that because it's the only platform where your content lives forever. Why? It's the second largest search engine. It's a search engine. And let me illustrate. This is a video that came out June 11th, 2018. All right. So this video is 3 years old, a little bit older than that now. You can see the upload date. This video gets 107 views every 60 minutes. Every hour of every day, around 100 people watch this video. Every hour. When I'm asleep, they're watching this video. When I'm working, they're watching this video. When I'm out with my wife shopping, they're watching this video. When I'm eating lunch with my family, does it make sense? So this video is working for me when I'm not working. And if you look at some of the results, look on the right side. This is where you see your analytics, and it says where views are coming from. Half of those views are coming from YouTube search. When somebody is looking for music to use for their YouTube videos, they're discovering this video. The video has earned $14,666 at the time of taking this screenshot. And this video has produced some absolutely crazy results. So why do I share all that? Well, this challenge is all about how do you get your first 1,000 subscribers? How do you get your first $1,000? This one video has grown my channel, Think Media, by 36,000 subscribers. It's earned $14,000 just one video. Now, I get it. I'm not suggesting that's going to be your first video you upload, but you start seeing the power that, okay, if I'm using the right strategies, and we're going to get into today's method, and we got 3 methods over the next 3 days, then you can get here a lot faster than most who are approaching YouTube the wrong way. And this is why some of the most consistently influential entrepreneurs use YouTube, whether it's a Brendan Burchard or a Gary Vaynerchuk or Lewis Howes or Grant Cardone. Why even in the business world do these guys invest a ton of time and energy into YouTube? Because it has unique power compared to the other social media platforms. Not everybody sees this light bulb moment of YouTube, but I hope you're seeing it today. Any smart business owner understands the power of leverage. They ask the question, what can I do today that will give me more time tomorrow? And when I create a smart YouTube video today that works for me tomorrow, I actually am multiplying time. I'm actually giving myself the ability to work on other things. As a creative, let me know, what's one of your goals with YouTube? What's one of your goals with your career? What I mean is, do you want to write a book one day? Do you want to create an online course? Do you want to sell physical products or do some arts or crafts type of products on Etsy? You know, are you not sure what your thing is or what you want to do? Do you just want to create YouTube videos and monetize content through entertainment? Like, what are some of the things you want to do? I know for me personally, there's just so many different things I want to do, whether that is write books. We run an event, planning an event takes a lot of energy. I like doing all kinds of stuff. I want to build out educational programs. I like to coach. I like to speak, but it all takes time. And so whenever you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else, unless you multiply your time, right? So when you have YouTube videos working for you, maybe covering the bills, you get to work on that next project. You get to work on that next activity or that thing that you ultimately want to invest in. This is why I love YouTube. And I see so many great things you're sharing. I want to pay rent with my art. We've heard it said, the starving artist. There's a great book by Jeff Goins called Real Artists Don't Starve. YouTube is one of the powerful ways to do that. If you can set up passive income streams, if you can set up income streams that are paying you so you can do woodworking business. Good to see you, Odin, to start a successful woodworking business. Tapping into YouTube is the most strategic thing that you do. I want to be a coach. I want to write books. I want to be a philanthropic influencer. I love that. And of course, hear me, you got to invest the time into YouTube to get these results. But eventually, once YouTube is working for you, then when you're spending your time coaching somebody, YouTube's still working, right? And so it's time to go type all in the chat if you're fired up today. And if we're just meeting, my name's Sean. My mission is to help people build their influence with YouTube. I've built a couple channels, gold play buttons, silver play buttons. But I'm most passionate. I wrote a book called YouTube Secrets with my friend Benji. It's the #1 best-selling YouTube strategy book in the world. Worked with a couple brands in our industry like Canon or Amazon or vidIQ. Now I'm a small town kid, college dropout. I started shooting videos in my room. Now the Think Media team is a team of about 18 people that are on a mission to expand what Think Media is doing, helping people with YouTube. And so a lot of us are based in Las Vegas. We work remote. Some of us are able to meet up. It's been a crazy journey, but we're most proud about our students. We've impacted a lot of different people in different ways. And, getting a silver play button is not the only measure of success. In fact, many people have built big businesses, even $1 million businesses with less than 100,000 subscribers, with less than 50,000 subscribers. However, there's something powerful about hitting that 100,000 subscriber mark where you get your silver play button. And we've seen even a couple people on screen here join some of our programs at 0. They had not posted a video yet, and they've been on that journey all the way to 100,000 subs. So that's been absolutely crazy. But there's something really powerful that I've learned. 2 things as we get into this first strategy when it comes to YouTube. Right now, you see their journey. You see the silver play buttons. You're like, man, this is crazy though, Sean. It's already 2021 and I feel like I'm too late. I feel like there's so much to learn. You might be saying, Sean, I'm not ready. Like I'm a little nervous. I've even been posting videos, but it's hard to go all in. I'm kind of leaning back a little bit, right? I'm not able to, I don't feel like I'm ready. And I would say, if that's how you feel, then you feel like everybody else when they started YouTube. Like you're in good company, because 100% of people, when they first hit record on a video, felt like they were not ready. I promise you. And that's the first big idea when it comes to YouTube, is you got to start before you're ready. You got to start before you're ready. And I want to illustrate this really quick. I posted my first video on my personal channel. Mind you, this wasn't even my first video. I was making videos for my church since like 2003. But this was my first video I posted publicly that I think embodies the principle, start before you're ready.
All right, so this is, I guess, the first Sean Thinks vlog. And I'm going to try to vlog every single day, mainly so I can remember what I'm even doing and what's going on, because I just feel like I have a lot that I'm thinking about, and I figured, hey, why not share it? And if you find something interesting, that's awesome. Now, this is definitely as real as it gets, so I'm not going to try to be energetic or entertaining, though maybe sometimes I will. But anyways,
man, I tell you what, if you want, that's maybe all the tips you need. Tip number 1, actually set your background up nice. Tip number 2, try to be energetic and entertaining, right? You know what I mean? Like, this video is absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe I uploaded it online. I'm so thankful I did, because it's such an illustration of the journey. I wasn't ready. Like, I was nervous. I actually have much more outgoing personality like this. But as soon as the camera came on, I was like, play it cool, man. Like, and I was all up in my feels, all up in overthinking. You ever deal with overthinking? I was all up in comparison. Like, other people are already doing this, and that might even feel stronger today, like all of that energy. But I want to encourage you, you got to start before you're ready. And if you're farther along and you're listening to this, you have to keep that spirit. Like, when we did our first event growth video live 4 years ago, like, we weren't ready. I mean, we made mistakes on it. We actually ended up losing money on it. But even though we lost the battle in terms of financially, we believe that you can still win the war if you don't quit, because we're like, well, it's just our first event. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Well, it's just your first video. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And it'll lose on that video, even though that video didn't do anything positive really. But it was that momentum. And so our whole spirit during this 1K challenge is, man, you got to start before you're ready. You got to start messy. You got to start poop your pants scared. You got to just start. You got to punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, and press record. But the second thing that I think is really key, and when I look, this was posted 11 years ago, was you got to commit to learning new skills. We're not here to say, oh yeah, if just anybody wants to start a YouTube channel and just upload whatever videos and not take their personal discipline seriously, their personal skills seriously. The Sean that posted that first video 11 years ago wasn't ready in that moment, but I didn't just stumble into YouTube success by accident. I had to be intentional. I had to learn new skills, just like you're here doing. And that's the point of this challenge, is to learn the skills necessary. None of us are entitled to any success on YouTube, but there are steps you can take, and there are specific skills that anyone can learn, but it takes commitment. Commitment is the foundation of all great accomplishments. And on my journey, I started to dive into new skills. The reason we're able to, I would say 11 years later, why I'm here today is pretty much one thing: a commitment to continuous growth. Buying books, going to courses, getting mentors, going to events, getting uncomfortable, continuing to post videos, studying them and being like, those didn't work. And then studying a little bit more and being like, oh, that's why. There's a lot to learn. But if you pace yourself, you're going to be able to learn it, but you can't do it if you're not committed to doing it. It's not just watching videos, doing nothing, and all of a sudden miracles happen and your channel grows. It's commitment to do the work. It's commitment to continue to learn. It's commitment to investing in learning new skills. Never compare yourself to somebody that has put in more time than you. You're watching somebody on YouTube right now, one of your favorite YouTubers. In fact, what are some of the channels you watch? Tell me in the comments. What are some of the channels that are your favorite channels? And you compare yourself to them. and you go, oh man, they talk, they're a better talker than me. They're better at editing than me. They're better at creating content than me. But here's the thing. They've probably put 2,000 hours, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 hours into their craft. And you've probably put 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, whatever it is. So why are you comparing yourself to someone who did what anybody can do? And that is get focused, get disciplined, get committed. Really decide to say, okay, I'm going to treat this. I'm going to stop dabbling and I'm going to start dominating when it comes to YouTube. If I wanted to do anything as a career, if I want to be great as a lawyer in law, if I want to be great as a doctor, if I want to be great as a teacher, if I want to be great as a history teacher or historian, if I want to be great as an athlete, you don't just make the decision and show up and you just know all the stuff. You commit to doing the work and continuous learning. Number one, start before you're ready. Number two, commit to learning new skills. And on the other side of that, I share all this because it's really where the discovery came over the last decade of what videos you should make to get massive views, the best ways to earn money from YouTube, and really what I wish I did differently. And listen, you can plug this in to any business. That's what today's training is all about. So if you're ready, type all in and let's get started. And here's the first method. The ASQ method is answer specific questions. Sean, what's the strategy? What types of videos should I make to get to my first 1,000 subscribers? ASQ, answer specific questions. It seems too simple. Well, it might be so simple that you might miss it. So let's dive deep and explore really what this means. You're out here trying to make fancy videos. Meanwhile, this channel posts a video of how to drill into your wall. And the video has 1.3 million views. Okay. You're trying to get 130 views. This video has 1 million views and it's how to drill into your wall. 5.1 million views. How to approach girls works every time. That's a really good title too, right? I'm like, I mean, if this works every time, then like I definitely got to watch this. 5.1 million views. Beginner workout routine made simple. 11 million views. 2.6 million views. Renting versus buying a home, the 5% rule. And if you're in the challenge group, you know that we're doing those quick tips every day. And Tony was sharing that strategy earlier about the versus strategy, renting versus buying. Basic, the 5% rule. 2.6 million views. Well, Sean, those are just unicorns with extraordinary success. Well, could you believe for 10% of those results? Because if you got 10% of 2.6 million views, that's 26,000 views. Maybe it's actually 260,000. You're not here for math. I'm not a mathematician. 1% I think is 26,000 views. And so this is, again, these are basic. They're answering specific questions. What's a question you could answer on YouTube? Where to start when reading the Bible? How to read the Bible? 69,000 views. Well, Sean, other people have already made this video. Yeah. And some are getting 69,000 views. Some are getting 33,000. Some are getting 12,000. Some are getting 88, which is a lot when you're just starting and no one knows you yet. But what are you doing? You're using the strategy, ASQ method, answer specific questions. Now, here's why this is such a big deal, because this is when I started YouTube. I learned this the hard way. Here's my first 18 videos. The first title of my first video, you just saw a clip of it, is Beyond Viral Kevin Nolte and Heavy Rain Chris Valentin. It's 2 book titles. It's the worst title I've ever seen written. What is it? It's meaningless. The second one, Perseverance plus Focus. What? That's my second video, right? The third, 10, 10, 10 plus Karate Kid. And so I was just putting random words like encouragement for homeschoolers and only child. Heather, I forgot about that video. We should watch that. Worship songs. Then I started filming clips places like freestyle Eminem versus Lady Gaga. I was these videos were they're meaningless. I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts, sharing my ideas, just titling the videos terribly. But hear me, we coach so many people. And a lot of times they haven't figured out that actual value-based angle with their YouTube channel. The titles are terrible. The thumbnails are also horrible, but even the big idea, like the positioning of the videos, hear me. If you just answer specific questions and you actually think about, man, what's the viewer that I want to serve? Like, who am I trying to reach and what problems do they have? It's crazy. I'm not saying this is the only strategy. We have a 5-day challenge and we're going to share so many other ones. This is just a foundational one that'll get you going to your first 1,000 subscribers. And one of the people who embodies this really well is a guy named Dave Ramsey. Now, he's really famous in the personal finance space. He's been on the radio for decades, and he's crushing it on YouTube. It's a great example of a business owner who has evolved. A lot of businesses stay stuck. They don't continue to innovate. They don't understand the signs of the times, and they don't adapt to the culture and to what's happening. Not only is he still on radio, but his YouTube channels are crushing. What is Dave Ramsey's strategy with over 2 million subscribers, with 16 million views a month? What's his strategy? Answer specific questions. In fact, he does it as a call-in show, and people call into the show and he answers their questions. And what they do is they turn the clips of those into specific videos and they post them on the channel. What's the best way to invest your money? Should I pay off debt first? What should I do with my $1.7 million that's saved up? That's a problem. Like, imagine that's your problem. You're like, I just have $1.7 million and I don't know what to spend it on. Dave, can you help me? Like, it's a specific question, it's a very specific amount, and sounds like a good problem to have. What are the steps for buying a house? Listen, friends, Dave Ramsey built an empire answering specific questions. I told you the secret that I learned from Dave Ramsey and Gary Vaynerchuk. You ever heard of the Ask Gary Vee show or his book, Ask Gary Vee? He answers specific questions. His keynotes are answering specific questions. In a way, much of his business career is the ASQ method. Meanwhile, you're out here trying to just like come up with some creative, really complex video ideas or whatever, which that's fine. But imagine if you just kept it really simple, like how to drill a hole in the wall if you happen to teach people about woodworking or carpentry. And you might say, but Sean, I want to do the art. I want to, there's so many things I want to create. There's so many, that sounds so basic. It's not that inspiring. Friend, this is a place to start because people need to know you before they can start experiencing your art and your creativity. So this is a practical jump off point to where you can meet people that are interested in certain things. And by answering specific questions, you are then able to build momentum. And hear me, this is the 1K challenge. You do this a couple times and you're going to get to 1,000 subscribers a lot faster. This is Marie Forleo. What is she doing here? She's got a call-in show. Should I get my PhD in anthropology? That's a very specific question. Or chase a lifelong dream of becoming an astronaut. She's ASQ, answering specific questions. So what is a specific question you could answer on your YouTube channel? Not just a random question. What are the questions that your target viewer is asking? What are the questions that are going to attract your target viewer? Now, in just a second, you might say, I don't know, Sean, because I don't know the niche of my channel. We're going to touch on that. I don't know what I should make my channel about. I'm still in those early stages. Good, because we're going to cover that in just a moment. But if you do have any clarity, or if you just want to brainstorm, these are questions it's a question to help you write some questions about what you could answer on your YouTube channel. And I want to show you a cool trick. If you could, I'm curious, what niches do we have here? What topics do we have? If you're rather in the challenge or you're watching this on YouTube, drop those in the comments. What is your channel about? Like, what kind of content are you creating? Because I want to show you a cool trick for coming up with video ideas based on what your channel is all about. And so let's see. My channel is all about Rubik's Cubes. I missed it. Decluttering. Okay, perfect. So Pat Rat Queen. So here's what you're going to do. You can, you take your niche, your topic. We come up to the YouTube search bar, and this is using auto suggest to just brainstorm some topics for what videos should we make. And I just pulled decluttering right out of the chat here. So we go decluttering and organize it. So right now, see what happens. YouTube finishes your sentence for you. Okay. It's called auto predict. And these autocomplete suggestions here are what people are searching for in the order of how popular it is on YouTube. So people want to do decluttering and organizing. Now, notice the strategy. Lean in for this, all right? ASQ. The strategy is not answer questions. Hear me. It's answer specific questions. Well, Sean, why are you emphasizing that and talking in such a way that makes it sound bizarre in terms of your tonality and your pausing? Good question. The reason is because what the mistake people make is you just make a video called like decluttering and organizing. That's way too broad to stand out on YouTube. But as soon as you get into like declutter makeup, now things get interesting. And now it's a specific video idea. But hear me, notice as I put space after makeup, you can actually declutter your makeup palettes. How do you declutter your makeup collection? Do you see what's happening here? Now you go, oh, well, I would love to talk about that. I have a lot of tips I could share on that. Well, let's do decluttering your makeup collection. I put another space after it. Organize my makeup collection. Makeup declutter small collection, like collection's not large. So now we're getting very specific, and there is a specific question, a specific video idea that would be great to make if you feel it. See, here's the idea of topic research like that. You go, I'm into decluttering. Let me go do some research. Ooh, this is what people are actually searching for. This is where you're going to get those views and those first 1,000 subscribers. Now, I have some great tips on how to declutter a small makeup collection. You know, there's multiple specific details about the video as opposed to just decluttering tips. 2021, you don't want to go broad, especially when you're starting. But Sean, the big channels just like they just make broad video. Yeah, because they already have subscribers. So why are you trying to do the strategies or doing what the channel that already has 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers? You need to do the right foundational moves to start right. Eventually, you can kind of do whatever you want because people know you. But if they don't know you yet, then your question is, how do I actually get known and discovered if people have no clue who I am? And so what's powerful about this is if you're into decluttering, one other distinction here, if you're going decluttering, okay, let's go decluttering. You also can start putting these words into a sentence. I'm going to go to the front. I'm going to go underscore space. And you can see now it says minimalism decluttering, extreme decluttering. Hey, that's a show. I don't know if that is a show, but like that's a good channel name, like extreme decluttering. That could be an HGTV series. My gosh. And now check this out. You can put the letter A here, and it's going to put the word decluttering in a sentence with A at the beginning. Affirmations for decluttering. Oh, that makes sense, like decluttering your emotions or something. The art of decluttering. Then you could go B, and then you might go bookshelf decluttering. Do you feel the power of this? You don't have to go buy anything. You have a bookshelf. You have decluttering expertise. You go, I wanted to do that anyways. Boom, there is a video idea. And here's the thing, at least you know humans are looking for this. It's a strong, clear, specific video idea. You then synergize that with something you could share tips on, and then you make the video. You do that over and over again, 10, 20, 30, 50 videos, we're hitting 1,000 subscribers. All right. So this is just the ASQ method during this challenge. All right. And then you grab a video like this, you could use all those letters. And that is just one nuance. Of course, there's tools and ways to go deeper in topic research, and we could talk about those. But this is kind of like all you need to get those first video ideas. And then you can get more advanced as you go. And that is just using YouTube Auto Predict. Can you see how powerful that is? Now, I asked you a question a second ago. What is one ASQ, answer specific question, you could do for your channel? It's going to be probably more informed. It's great if you just reach into your own brain, okay, and just take it out of your own brain. But even better is if you don't live so myopic, just focused on yourself and what you're thinking. The question is, what do people really want to see? What videos do people want to watch? And so when you use those research methods, They can help you get insane results. Here's some examples. You know, of course, this may seem obvious, but I do my research, and this is 3 years ago. 5 ways to make money on YouTube with a small channel. Okay. 2.1 million views. That's a specific question. How to make money on YouTube. How to make a YouTube video for beginners start to finish. 1.7 million views. Now, of course, this is my niche, is helping people on YouTube. And the reason the ASQ method is so powerful is because 70% of viewers use YouTube to help them solve a problem. See, people have problems, right? You're like, I know they do. Like your partner, your spouse, like they have problems, right? Don't they? You've got problems. You are a problem. Okay, listen. And so people got problems, man, and they have problems they want to solve. 70% of viewers use YouTube to help them solve a problem. So if you're answering questions that help people solve a problem, think about how that can lead people into your world, discover your channel, get you views. And to illustrate, because this works in any niche or any topic, this is Nicole. And Nicole is one of our Video Ranking Academy students. She made a video called Tummy Time for Newborns. All right. Now, this is a specific problem that doesn't apply to everybody, namely people that don't have a newborn. Now I'm 37. I'm coming up on my 38th birthday. And my wife and I actually just had our first kid. So for the last 36 years, this was not a problem. But now I've got a problem. A 10-month-old. Any parents can relate? You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out feeding schedules. I'm cleaning poopy diapers. I'm trying to figure out, is he going to walk? Is he going to crawl? What am I doing? Am I doing this right? Come on. I've got some parent problems, right? Any parents out there have a problem child? No, your kids are a blessing. You would never say. Listen, so Tummy Time for Newborn, she makes this video. It has 3.2 million views answering specific questions. And there he is. There's little Sean Bradley. There's my wife, Sonia, and our dog, Sophie. Here he is. Like this was, I think, around Easter this year or something. We went out, took a few photos. You can see here clearly, too, I have really got fatherhood down. You can see who's the dominant male in the family. We actually call him the dictator. Like we also call him the chaos candidate. He's just been throwing. Like he has his monitor. He's like slamming my phone on countertops. He wants to hear the noise and stuff. I don't know. Any parents can relate. But here, back on track, tummy time. So now think about it. Who are you trying to? New moms specifically. She's helping new parents. And this is our first money cha-ching. I don't know if you heard that. Is it working? Yeah, it is. All right. YouTube ads. So one of the ways you could get your first $1,000 is YouTube ads. So I actually DM'd her and I said, how much ad rev have you made from your 2.7 million viewed tummy time video? What's crazy is it's at like 3.3 now. So I asked her a little while ago and she said $7,525. My friends, you can't tell me that basic, simple, answer-specific question videos can't grow your channel or help you earn big money. But Sean, there's other people. There's so many other. This is one strategy. Like this is actually just, and it's a really good way to start because this was one of the breakout moments for Nicole was, here's the question, did every question video that she answered get 3 million views? It did not. That's not the point. I'm saying that you put out enough videos, the right one hits at the right time. You kind of get 1% better every time you upload. You're learning, you're leveling up your skills. Eventually one hits and it can change your life. Nicole now has a multiple six-figure business years past this video, but even that's some pretty serious results there. She now has built this brand, her legacy, raising soul-aligned kids while scaling your soul-aligned business. She's doing some incredible things, but it started with answering specific questions. Here is just a screenshot of the 2020 ad revenue on YouTube that we had on Think Media. Now, hear me. I realize this is like stupid. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. But today, we have multiple content creators. If you haven't subscribed to the Think Media channel, definitely hit the subscribe button. Think Media on YouTube. Heather's making videos, Nolan's making videos, Omar's making videos. It's a whole other thing. But don't get it twisted. It started with this small town kid, college dropout, making videos by myself, and I had to make $10 in AdSense, $28 in AdSense, $200 a month. Things are going amazing. Like, this is cool. Fast forward to today, $250,000 in a year, but it's from brick by brick by brick by brick, posting videos, personally committing to getting better and learning new skills and investing in myself. And the results have been pretty spectacular. Hear me. The practicality of 10% of these results in the creator economy, not my opinion, friend, it's the fastest growing small business type. The practicality of 10% out here trying to do math, that's $28,000 a year in YouTube AdSense. Later on, we're going to be talking about 13 different ways to make money. If you joined the YouTube Starter Kit, we have a guide in there for 51 ways to make money. The point is, it's not even just YouTube ads as the only way to make money on YouTube. And if you want to learn more about that, tubestarterkit.com, just one of the resources in that is the 51 money-making video ideas resource, because it's not necessarily about how many subscribers or even views you get, depending on your chosen business model for your channel. But Sean, what if I don't know what to make my channel about? Good question. Important question. Because you don't really just want to answer random questions. You want to answer specific questions for a specific audience. There's always like, should I niche down? Should I, do I need a specific niche? And there's kind of like debates around that. And the answer is like, yes, but people take it too far. The bottom line is you need focus. If you try and chase two rabbits, you'll end up catching neither. If you're chasing all these different topics, or if your channel seems to be for 10 different types of people or 100 different types of people, it's probably for too many. There's confusion there. And on YouTube, if you confuse, you lose. So how do you find what your channel should be about? I want to share this framework with you, and I really believe this is going to help you get clarity. If you already feel like you have clarity, I want you to go through this a fresh time, because you may want to pivot your strategy. This could either strengthen your current YouTube channel. It's going to help you start a YouTube channel correctly that is going to succeed in terms of 1,000 subscribers and $1,000 of income and beyond. But maybe you've been doing this for a while and you actually kind of need to reinvent yourself a little bit. I want you to go through this a fresh time, pull out a fresh piece of paper, and let's do this exercise together. The first thing I want you to draw is 3 circles overlapping, right? And there's that center area where they all overlap. And when it comes to figuring out your niche, your thing, what should I make my channel about? The first area I want you to write is passion. What am I passionate about? And what I want you to write down is as many things as you can think about that hit you the most. Like for me, I'm passionate about music and DJing. I actually grew up, had DJ turntables, all the stuff. I am passionate about cars. I went through a whole season growing up too. I'm a Fast and Furious kid, rest in power, Paul Walker. But like that first Fast and the Furious movie, with green ground lighting kit, racing for slips, like the whole thing. I had a 1994 Honda Civic back in high school. It was all teal with yellow trim. And even recently, I just got a Volkswagen Golf GTI turbocharged 2016, only 15,000 miles on it. You know what I'm talking about. You buy that old used car that grandma drove and was garaged. What's funny is grandma was driving a Golf. I actually don't know who the previous owner was, but all that to say is I could say cars. I'm passionate about cars, modding cars. I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about, video personally. So what are you passionate about? And you write down different things that you're passionate, books, personal development, nonfiction, fiction. You're writing down different things that you are passionate about. Here's the deal. Write down 5 to 10 of those and then stop. And you can come back to this exercise later. But the next area is then proficiency. Proficiency. What are you now, out of those 3 to 5 to 10 passions, what are you good at that others would acknowledge you being good at? Now, this is where we get stuck, because sometimes we're really hard on ourselves and we have the curse of knowledge. we go, I'm not really that good at, this thing, where it could be something you're passionate about. Gardening, you're passionate about health, and you're a nurse and you're passionate about nutrition, and you've read like 3 books on the topic or 10 books. You watch all these YouTube videos and conversations. You could say like, oh, your energy's a little low. Well, might I recommend a little glutathione and sleep a little bit? And you need more electrolytes. Like, you just would roll off some information that could help somebody, but you just think it's common. No. What do other people acknowledge in you? And what out of those 5 to 10 passions you've wrote down are you good at? Are you proficient at? For me, growing up, I grew up in church. Video. I got started in video in my local church in a small town for 16 kids in the youth ministry. And I was filming on a mini DV camera. I was making video announcements. That's where I got my start in video, and why I wanted to start helping people with cameras and lighting and all that stuff on Think Media, because I started years earlier learning cameras, learning how to edit, learning Adobe Premiere. But when I was growing up, even though it was one of my passions, the video and the cameras, and I was proficient at it as well, there's just something about being around 19 at the time, intern at a church. And if you've ever been in church culture, like, maybe one of the coolest positions or things to be is the worship leader guy. I don't know if you've never been in church, I'm weird, but here, like, there's the guy. And if you've ever been in church, this guy, he probably has like his sleeves are kind of rolled up. He's got like tattoos, he's got like a man bun, like his beard, the full deal. He's wearing skinny jeans. Like, we don't need those, but he's got those on, these weird little booty things, and he's like, and then he raises his arm like this. The tattoo is under his arm. That's just like, God is awesome, So whenever it's like, come on, church, like, and so I just kind of, I'm 19 and I'm doing all this other stuff, but I had an acoustic guitar, and I was like, maybe I'm called to be a singer and a guitar player. David in the Psalms was like a worshiper, and I was like, I'm single at the time, now I'm married to my wife, Sonia. I'm like, that's probably a good way to get girls. Can I be honest with you? You know what I mean? If I could get a tattoo right here and, get a fedora and just start to rip. And so I get this guitar, I start taking guitar lessons. I actually had these really awkward times where I invited people over to my house. This is sometimes what we do as Christians. We're like singing in a circle, and I was like playing the songs for the sing along. I was so bad. Like, my voice it's not a gift. The guitar was not going well. I'm trying to play and sing at the same time. People are being real gracious. I don't even know why they came, because I would never have gone to this if their situations was reversed. Why do I tell this story? Because I actually didn't really see it at the time until I did. I was passionate, and still am, about music and praise, and I'm maybe you're like me. Are you like me, where like you love singing in the shower, you love singing in the car when the music's up, but as soon as for some reason like a call comes in, you're belting it out, your favorite song from Olivia Rodrigo, and you're like, and then all of a sudden a call comes in, and now you're singing, the music went away, and you're like, ugh, like, being in key is not something that God gifted me with. Hear me. And so as far as proficiency goes, eventually there was a light bulb moment where I was like, this isn't something that I should keep investing in terms of my career or my strength. Friend, what I really want you to hear in terms of getting your first 1,000 subscribers, building a real YouTube career, building a full-time business around your passion, is that it's at the intersection of your passion and your proficiency. So if I wrote down guitar, singing, publicly performing music, as soon as I step into the proficiency circle, that one is getting crossed out. And I can still be passionate about it, and it can still be a hobby for my whole life. That's cool. But if I personally look and I go, okay, video, YouTube strategy, online marketing, passionate about it. Am I good at it? Yes, it's been proven. And even when I was just getting started, I've studied it. I've learned about it. I've got some experience in it. I've got some history in it. So now you're looking for thematic overlap. You got the 5 to 10 things. I want you to circle 1, 2, or 3 of the ones you're not just passionate about, but you're also proficient at. But there's one more, and then that's profit. That's profit. Hear me. I will not apologize for talking about money and building a business. I will not, I don't believe that that's the only reason you should do YouTube. Of course not. You get to do YouTube for whatever you want. It's YouTube. It's your tube. Like that's like literally, it's a blank slate for you. And if you just want to make it about art, if you just want to make it about creativity, and if you don't care about making money, that's completely fine. But if you want this to be a business, entrepreneurs solve problems for a profit. Okay. Therefore, there needs to be a business model to it. There needs to be economics to it. If you actually want to make a living, if you love your job or you don't need to work, or great, this is up to you. I'm here if you would say, Sean, I want guidance about how to build a real business around my YouTube channel. And if you are now selecting, there's 10 things you're passionate about. There's 2, 3, or 4 that you're strongest at, that you're most proficient at, that you have the deepest knowledge about. Friend, that you could talk about for 5 hours at coffee, and your friend's like, stop talking about it. And you're like, I'm passionate about it and I know a lot. And they're like, listen, I didn't even ask. You know, the kind of thing where you actually wouldn't even really have to study before you could download details and information about that area. But then the next question is, you might be left with 2, 3, 4 things circled. Which one of those is potentially the most profitable, the most practical for business? In business terms, it's asking, is there a market for this? What do I mean by market? I mean, how big is the market? Think about this. Are more people interested in hamburgers and fries in America, right, than boba tea? More people are into hamburger and fries in America. Boba tea is a huge subculture and a sub niche and trend as well, but it's just a smaller market. That's great. You get to decide. But when you think about, okay, the 3 things, is there an audience for this? Which ways am I going to monetize? Am I going to monetize? And I know we haven't talked about those yet, so stick with us through the whole challenge, because we're going to break down the different kind of business models, the profit pathways. So then when you synergize your passion, your proficiency, and your profit at the intersection of these things is what your sweet spot. But hear me as we land the plane. If you just have passion and proficiency, you got a hobby. That's not bad. If you want a hobby, something to do on the weekends, grow a community, grow a channel. But if you lack the business model aspect, you're good at the thing, you're passionate at the thing, but there isn't really a clear pathway or the niche or positioning of your channel. It's just a hobby. If you actually are like, oh, this is the cool thing to do, meaning like, oh, you know, it'd be a good idea for a YouTube channel that could like make a lot of money, and I'm kind of good at it, but it's not a passion and it's not something that is really true to your heart, you might get bored, because clearly you're good at it and you can make money from it, but you get bored if you just have profit and proficiency. So I would ask you, I know I'm not asking for like a pledge commitment right now, but I kind of am. What would keep you fascinated and engaged for at least 3 years? I know it's hard to make a decision and plant our flag and pick what we're going to make our YouTube channel about, but I want you, one of the secrets to making this thing work is the passion. Is that, like, I feel this, I got to get this message to the world. This is something I would tell people about regardless. I want them to be healthier. I want them to laugh. I want them to, enjoy life more. I want them to recover after divorce. I want them, I'm so passionate about this topic, the things I've learned, I want to share those. If you just are like, well, I could, here's how I make money. I'm pretty good at this, but I'm not on fire for it. It could just be boredom. So at the intersection of the thematic overlap of the passions you're writing down, finally, if you, and this can happen, right? This is me. Picture Sean today. I went down a whole different path. Can you imagine this? It's 2021. I'm out here in a local coffee shop. 7 people just showed up to hear my songs. Will you come hear my songs? And here I am, and I'm still going for it. You see the tats. I got the fedora. There I am. And again, I just need to be self-aware that I'm like, listen, I just need to share my music and my art with the world. And I still am maybe a starving artist. That's fine. Imagine, like, because I could have gotten better at guitar and I could have got voice lessons, but I promise you, friends, self-awareness, that's not my calling. I could still be doing it. And it would have been like this, I believe, you always get to do what you want, but it would have been a misplaced form of commitment. You need to strategically quit things. I strategically quit my worship leader career, and it was the best decision I've ever made. Strategically quitting what I'm not as strong at. And so if you ultimately see that when you have only passion and profit, I love this thing, and this also could be a way I can make a living, but you lack the proficiency, it can lead to failure. So my friends, in the sweet spot of the middle is your YouTube sweet spot. And maybe you had some aha moments. Drop those in the comments. What is your unlock from this? Tell me your aha moment from the entire training, but also, have you had a breakthrough? Have you been like, wow, I need to change my YouTube channel topic? Wow, out of the 10 passions I wrote down, when I think about proficiency and profit altogether, this one is clearly the one that stands out and is the one that I should be leaning into. And so ultimately, this is what I personally did as is how I came to discover my clarity and focus on YouTube. As we land the plane, here's just a couple lessons I learned from my journey on YouTube. In 2003, video was my background. There's me. We're at our local church. That's like some green screen fabric sewed together by a lady in the church. We got some yellow shop lights from Home Depot. Like, those are our lighting, right? If you know about creating content on a budget, man, that's my roots. I've been doing videos since 2003, right? So clearly it was something I was passionate about, but I was developing my proficiency in that. Later on, I learned, it's like, okay, so what should my YouTube channel be about? That was the birth of Think Media. But over the years, I was working at Red Robin. The first YouTube channel I started was for my church in 2007. So 2 years after YouTube started, I started making YouTube videos, and they were not good, right? But I was able to help, and I'm helping people today with the thing I've been doing for years. Hear me. You're most powerfully positioned to help who you were 2-3 years ago. Does that make sense? Like, if you're a new mom and you just survived the first 3 years, you're most powerfully positioned now to help people that are just getting into it, maybe going through pregnancy and in those first years. If you're new to YouTube, I'm most powerfully positioned to help you from all the mistakes and the thousands of videos. See what I'm saying? You're most powerfully positioned to help you yesterday. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be somebody that knighted you and said, you're allowed to go start sharing your message. No, I just had been doing YouTube. I'm waiting tables. I'm on the hustle. I'm doing this as a side hustle. If you ever feel like, oh, I can't relate to Sean now, well, that makes sense. This is not just Sean. This is the whole Think Media team. But you can relate to me, because whether it was going through the process, going through pain, having to figure out how to do YouTube while I had a job, while I'm juggling family, while I'm juggling stress, while I'm juggling it, I've been through every stage, friend, so I can help you navigate the journey. But if you haven't heard our story, in 2009, my wife almost died. And when it came to discovering my passion and proficiency and what to start our YouTube channel about, my wife's name's Sonia, and 2 years after getting married, she got super sick. And as you could see, she lost so much weight, she had to get a feeding tube in her nose so they could stabilize her weight. Eventually, what happened was they had to, they put the feeding tube jejunum in her side, and they placed it wrong. So as you're pumping that food, the first night we came home and we set all the machinery up, and it was kind of real like dark energy, just because you're like, man, this is so heavy. Like, what are we going through? And we turned on the food and it wasn't going into her stomach. It started to fill up her body cavity because it wasn't going to the right place. And all of that will suffocate your organs quick. It'll kill you. So she's like, my body's on fire. I don't know what's going on. So we threw on our Honda Civic, drove to Everett, Washington to the emergency room. They saw what was happening. They got her stabilized, put her in an ambulance. And we drove to Seattle, Washington. I'm following the ambulance in our Honda, and we get to Virginia Mason Hospital. And for 6 days, I'm by my wife's side. And I am trying to figure out, like, A, God, what's happening? B, what are we going to do? And it was during those 6 days that I went through a freaking emotional roller coaster, as you can imagine, highs and lows. Like, is my wife going to be okay? We weren't doing well financially. We just got crushed by The Big Short, losing houses and all that kind of stuff. And so, man, how am I going to provide for my family? What are we going to do next? But friend, it was during the really darkest week of our life, during the hardest years of our life, that I started to tap deep into a fire and a passion. I know when I share this story, like, or when people hear my passion for YouTube or my passion for the creator economy, it can maybe get written off or whatever, but this is freaking real. This is my journey. And it was out of actually desperation during that time to say, man, I got to figure out a way to work from home. I got to figure out a way to pay medical bills. I got to figure out a way. Some people want to become an influencer and get into the creator economy because they want, like, the fame and the fortune, and they want to flex on social media. And, like, if that's your reason for doing it, cool. But that wasn't my motivation. My motivation was like, how am I going to pay medical bills? My motivation was like, how am I going to take care of my family? And my motivation, here's why I'm sharing this with you, is it kicked my butt into gear to stop dabbling and to start dominating. Because I had posted that video that was kind of like, I'm not going to be energetic or entertaining. But when this event happened, I realized I had a choice. I can either get bitter right now and let these circumstances overwhelm us, or I can get better. And who do I need to be for my family and my wife right now? Do I need to be depressed and discouraged, or do I need to lead right now? Do I need to stand up and really be courageous? Did I know what was going to happen next? I had no clue. Was I certain of what the future hold? Nobody is. But what I did know is that I could commit to starting before I was ready, and I could commit to learning the skills necessary to figure it out, because we went on a windy journey. But I realized, okay, I've got this thing in my hand called video, and I've already started YouTube. And I'd actually just read this book by Gary Vaynerchuk called Crush It, Why Now is the Time to Cash In on Your Passion. And I was like, this is it, man. I just got to go all in on this. And I wandered and made a ton of mistakes for about 5 years. Testing theories, some stuff worked, some stuff didn't. That's the power of you being here, is it's a shortcut. This challenge is a shortcut. But when I think about passion, I am freaking passionate about YouTube, because YouTube changed my life. Because I committed to doing the work, but we have built a lifestyle where we can work from home, a life on our own terms, where we can, where through medical treatments and through prayer and through all of this, we didn't think we'd be able to have a son and a family. We're in an entirely different place a decade later, through discipline, through God's grace, through taking it step by step. And I think this message is more important now than ever before, because, friends, we just went through one of the craziest years maybe in human history, especially probably in your and my history. A global pandemic, financial, economic devastation, inflation starting to rise right now, massive disruption in jobs and unemployment happening, right? Isolation, the worst mental health crisis the world has maybe ever seen. This stuff is real. You want to talk about how serious I am? I get this is like YouTube. I'm serious. You need to go all in on YouTube, because people need encouraging, helpful, problem-solving content. Who's waiting on you? Who needs your message? Sean, this is a little intense. I get it. If you just want to do like gaming videos, that matters. Meaning, like, if you want to entertain people, people need an escape from the troubles in the world right now. We all do. Can I get an amen on a Monday? Listen, like, this is an opportunity. And I saw this window of opportunity 10 years ago. And my friends, it's still just getting started. The data shows us this next decade is going to be the best decade in the creator economy and on YouTube. But I hope that this moment, maybe as you tap into getting your butt kicked in 2020, getting your finances knocked down in 2020, whatever it is, and really tap into that thing that you're passionate about. because the work ahead in this challenge, you're not going to hear like this is a get rich quick thing. It's not. It takes work. It takes discipline. And so when you have passion and you figure out your proficiency, it's good enough for today, but you got to sharpen that axe. You got to sharpen that skill, and you figure out your business model, and then you commit. My friends, your YouTube sweet spot is right in the center of those 3 C's. And it's crazy the journey we've been on. Of course, now we didn't think we'd be able to have a family and to be holding our son now and to be thinking about, man, sometimes you definitely can't see the future. And we had so many years of hell and over the last decade up and down. But I heard a quote once, right? If you're going through hell, keep going. Like, don't stop. Like, what is your goal that's ahead? What is that thing you're fighting for? And as we land the plane, I want to ask you that. Why do you want to succeed on YouTube? Like, what's your why for doing YouTube? Can you post that in the comments? Why do you want to succeed on YouTube? I wanted to succeed on YouTube because I wanted to share video tips. And friends, I wanted to make money. Like, of course, like, good reason. So like, I would like to make a living. That's a good reason. Like, I wanted to make money. I want to share what I know. I've made a lot of mistakes in video over the years. Why do you want to succeed on YouTube though? As you really get deep, like, I want to provide for my family. This message needs to be heard around the world. This is the type of person I want to help. I've overcome this challenge or this illness, or I'm in the middle of this and other people need encouragement. I realize we're going to get more Tony quick tips. We have a lot more tactics to come. We talked about the ASQ method today, and we got all these other methods. And I know that sometimes this feels more maybe like kind of woo-woo, but this is actually the real stuff. This is the ingredients of you crushing on YouTube over the long haul, because reasons come first, results come second, right? When you know your reason for getting up early, staying up late, taking time to edit the videos, investing money before you're seeing the money coming back. It's like to buy a camera. How much money is coming in now? 0. Okay. But like, you're seeing the future. You're investing in the future. What are you fighting for? I'm getting gear. I'm like going to events. I'm buying courses. I'm doing these things back in 2010 just because I had a vision for the future. I knew what I was fighting for. Reasons come first. Results come second. So share your reasons and gather around these reasons in this group, because even just to type these out, to share these in the comments, to share your why. Simon Sinek in the famous book said, start with why. The why is the motivation. The why is what people will connect to on your channel. Your why is very powerful, and that will be it's the powerful center of the 3P framework that I just shared with you. So today we learned that YouTube is healthy and growing. Quick recap. We learned that you can use the ASQ method to get 1,000 subs and beyond. And by the way, today on Think Media, we are still using the ASQ method. It's not like that's just a beginner strategy. It just will be your quickest path to 1,000 subscribers. Number 3, you can earn money with YouTube AdSense, and we got a lot more money-making ways coming. And I also want you to use number 4, the 3P formula for finding your YouTube channel topic. That's what we covered today. And we got 6 more sessions of this, 4 more days of this. But I want to remind you, commitment is the foundation of all great accomplishments. I want to congratulate you for making it to the end of session 1. We've got VIP Q&A. We've got a couple announcements, but legit commit to this challenge. I mean, commit to YouTube, but we're really just getting started. Block the time. Get it on your calendar. Get ready. Because this is the tip. We're barely getting started. I hope you got value out of today's session. And I'm excited because we're going to welcome back the Think Media team for our daily challenge, as well as some other announcements before we end today.